Hello everyone. What's up? Welcome to the channel. My name's Alckemy. I probably saw most of you a few minutes ago while I was doing a premiere of a video that I just uploaded, which I appreciate everyone showing up for. It was something that was regarding kind of giving you a breakdown of how I make money off of the platform and how just this whole business model works. And so if that's something that you seem interested in, then I'd highly suggest going to check that out. We're gonna actually do some music stuff today, and then around 6, which I have plenty of time, 7 hours from now, I am going to go and play some Yu-Gi-Oh! And then tomorrow I'll be live. We'll probably play games. I'll continue the Elden Ring DLC, and then we'll limit the Elden Ringage to Saturdays until I finish the game, and then we'll find something else to play. So that's what's on the agenda. But happy Friday. I hope that everyone is live and well. Hey, Cheeseburger Leaf. That's a cool name. Uh, yeah, appreciate everybody kind of hanging out. If you have any questions along the production session or whatever, please feel free to ask. We're going to open up with some bass design. I'm currently working on my new project, which is Ecclesia, which we are going to pretty much just do some really cool bass stuff with and kind of get things up and going. So yeah, we'll get into some beat design here in a bit, or some beat making here in a bit, but for now I'm just gonna try to focus on making at least one preset today, maybe two. It shouldn't take me nearly as long to design as the other stuff that I've been putting out. So yeah, cool. Let's go ahead and start this off with a wavetable. And we're just gonna make some stuff here. Yeah, that's probably okay. And this is kind of the theme of what's going on here, because with the most recent update from FacePlant, they added the filter table. So being able to utilize the filter table, the same one for a bunch of different stuff, is really nice. So we could just call this Awawa. If you'll know, then you know. Did I make a new thing yet? No, I didn't. That's fine. So we'll just save that as Awawa, and then I'll move them over to other stuff. But now what we can do is kind of have something here, which is mostly nothing, but we can do a couple of things. So first off, don't I have a bandpass layer? Yeah. So we can create a bandpass layer here and map this to an LFO, kind of like so. And then we can bring up a filter table and pull up the same filter table. Oh shit, no, wait, I don't need to edit that, I just need to pull it up. So we can go user, find Awawa. There it is. And then now we've got a filter that we can utilize. Then we can map the filter table to this in case if we want to change it. Then we can also map some of this other stuff to things like this, where we might want to cycle through the table. So yeah, so now we're already getting some cool stuff. Go to the shaper table here. And then we can start to develop other stuff from this as well. So we can do things like this, where we go kind of like that, and like that. Just kind of focus on the mids here. Hey, what's up, Michael? And we could use this to go like that. And then we can use this to kind of go up and down, kind of like that. So And so now we can add some stuff like this. Maybe utilize this on some of the other things here, like that'll make a big difference. Grab notch filter. We can modify this. We can change this out as well. So just kind of focus on the mids here. And then we need this guy. This pretty much goes on everything. Hey, Arl. Sick. Okay. So from there we can do some other stuff, which would be, yeah, why don't we do that? Maybe what I can do is hit the, no, hit the stereo on here and move this down to 0, but I can also apply a format filter over some of this stuff. That's one thing that I wish this had, was a mix, but unfortunately it does not. So I'm actually curious, if we introduce some of the format filter, is that going to reduce some of the lows? Nope, it's fine. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, what's cool about this now is we can utilize this to create different shapes of what we want. Enjoyed your bass video very much. Learned about this artist Rawtech. Never heard of them. Yeah, they're so cool. They're a couple, I think, from Germany. Fun fact, Audica actually, or Skylar from Audica actually, I think went and moved in with them, or like had an apartment right next to them for a while and stuff. And I think that they mentored him or something, which is super cool. Yeah, their stuff, they're so good. Their drum work is incredible. Oh, it would be a dream to talk to them about stereo imaging and drums, because they just, hmm, especially with drum and bass, they're insane. Love their stuff. Are they siblings? I thought they were a couple. Hi, Zane. Also, everybody, please go follow Zane. Subscribe to his channel. Check out his SoundCloud. Check out all the things regarding Zane. I absolutely adore him. I talk about him a lot on the channel. Hugs. Love you, bro. Happy New Year. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. Hey, Data. I always thought they were siblings. I thought they might be. What's Rawtech? Music consisting of Stefan and Christine Westphal from Hamburg. No, I don't do any of that. No, too late. Found Rawtech. Destination. The couple started working together in 2011. Stefan's knowledge in the production experimental minimal techno and drum bass with Christine's experience as a singer and songwriter. Yeah, I think they're a couple. Do I copy German DMB here in my channel? Do I make German DMB? Yeah, I think they're married. I mean, I make neuro stuff, but I wouldn't. Is is German D&B a thing? But yeah, they have Here's to Them, I think is one of their major albums. Yeah, Here's to Them. Ooh, there's some heat on this one. Current Value. What about Current Value? Is Current Value German? Neurofunk. Yeah. Anyway, they've got some great stuff. It's heavy too. It's super heavy. First from British, after then a lot of tunes like Mannheim and stuff. I don't really know much about what's going on overseas, to be honest, but um yeah, they've got some cool shit. 2025. Is Matthews Dutch? Uh, Emanu's Dutch? I thought he was French. Boonchen is Dutch? I mean, you're not wrong. I thought Emanu was French. I know, right? 2024 is over. I am I am so happy that we are we're out of 2024 because fuck. Yeah. I think I'm going to take this off. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Within this multipass, do I have something mapped to a low pass filter or what's final neuro? The sub goes on there. Yeah. His heritage, Manu, is from the Dominican Republic. Oh, Matthews is Austrian. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Europe in general, you guys are just insane. Bought it from the import label and Dutch. Uh, I mean, we can't also talk about drum and bass and halftime and stuff without talking about South Africa. Um, see, that was before you said that, dude. South Africa. Oh my God, you guys don't even know. South Africa is full of lovelies. I'll say that much. Really cool people. Zane's from Africa. Uh, Cage is from Africa. Betty's from Africa. Luke makes really good drum and bass. Uh, Mid sector is what he goes by. Just everyone from South Africa is fucking cracked. Boy, those who ain't fucking up all their asses get it right. Cool. I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. John Casey. Oh, John Casey makes drum and bass too. I guess I was just thinking about like mostly the drum and bass. Counter Strike. I think I'm going to do just a little bit of distortion on this to try to get these two to play with, like, to interact with each other. Because if you just have a high harmonic and whatever this is, it usually doesn't interact unless if it's being sent through distortion. Old neuro tech step school stuff. All of the best jungle / D&B came out of England. Mr. Alckemy, thank you for making these halftime D&B and electronic tracks, but can I sample that jazz track I made for the Dilla Flyla Wu-Tang heads? I could. I'd probably want to turn it into something else though, but like that video was only to paint a picture. It wasn't to say like, look at my jazz shit. You know what I mean? A big drop sign in the patch. I'm not English myself, by the way. I mean, a lot of really good artists came out of England for sure. What, Bristol especially? Or where's Ivy Lab from? Yeah, if you listen to this, if you listen to the way the harmonic pops out on the top end, that's kind of... Yeah, I would probably attribute the best drum and bass artist to Noisia by a long shot. Nobody still to this day has done anything remotely close to the production level of what those three people do. They're just, you know, yeah, they really are. I agree. Like, just the kind of shit that they come up with and the way that they, I'll say this, the way that their music makes you feel is unlike anything else that I've experienced with music production or with being involved with music and stuff. On their studio design, I don't remember that. They have a Patreon, by the way, which I wish that they covered more of their own stuff. Like, they kind of went in this direction of like covering other artists on their label, which I think is respectable, and I'm glad that they're like, you know what I mean, showcasing other things of the community. But I have so many questions that I want to see from them of like, I think it would be killer if I sample that jazz into some boom bap. I don't know, I might. I think I wouldn't even necessarily call that jazz. I just wrote a bunch of chords out and tried to make it make sense. Zane would be proud. I don't know if you watched that video or not, but cool. So now that we have that, we need to go ahead and do this now, which is this dude, which we're going to keep this to be pretty simple, I think. We'll turn this on. Maybe we will use another filter table on this though, and we'll apply the same Awawa filter. Wawa. Oh, we have Wawa and then we have Awawa. Fuck, man. Those little animals have been invading my Instagram for way too long. Those cute little things. Okay, where is that crazy resonance coming from? It might just be because there's too much low end. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Let's do just a touch of chorus to try to blend that. Should I use the sampler? What do you mean? Are you saying should you be recording this? No. No. Mm. To this. To the curve. So something that I think I'm going to do instead of this is something that Aiden was actually talking to me about yesterday, which is utilizing. Wait. Okay. Which is utilizing FM instead. Because what this will do is it'll actually keep the sine wave in phase. So, is that the right one? Yeah. So if we do this, and we turn everything else off, then what we need to do is grab an envelope and just make it fast. Second one. So that way we actually have like a nice little 808 out of that. Which, this is cheeky for 808 because it's 808 but with a shift on it. So might confuse people, but whatever. It's meant to be funny and interactive. But yeah, I mean, from there we've got our harmonic. We have a harmonize if we want to like make this into like a lead. And then we've got that. And then this is mapped to the MPE. So one thing about this though that kind of maybe that's what I need to set that on. You can't, I mean, you can't talk about drum and bass without talking about noise, you know? Shout out to Zane. This was his idea. of adding a gate to this. So thank you. And so what we can do is grab a gain. I forgot that I didn't map that. I need to set that in. That. My first really patch on phase plant was all over renting. Using the slice EQ, is there any point to getting the carve EQ? You mentioned didn't really use it in my tier list. I don't think so. Break is my personal favorite. Break has some really dope drums. Dogs on Acid Days. Oh my god. Damn. That place. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time with some of the stuff you're saying. Um, we'll figure it out though. We'll figure it out together. Some nice little movement here. And then we can pull this up, and move this over. There we go. So now we've got little spikes of doom. I think that I don't think that this stuff would be necessarily useful for halftime, but I think that for drum and bass, like the phrasing on this would be really sick. Which I think that, let's be honest, these kinds of basses don't really belong in halftime, no matter how much I want them to. But they are cool. They are interesting. Let's go Convolver. Let's just grab a factory thing. Kind of do stuff this way. And then I kind of don't really want that long of a tail. Yeah, that's more of what I'm looking for. Okay, pretty happy with that. Let's call this... Wait. Let me save this first. Oh, wow. Was it the array that I used for MPE? Yeah, I still have it, and I use it every once in a while. Oh, wow. Simple. Yeah, I think that, you know, the thing with these basses is that as cool as I think that they sound, they still are very difficult to implement in a track. Unless if you just use them as a fill or if you use them in drum and bass. But I really think that like just distorted sounds and 808s are the way to go for things like halftime. And then maybe you could do like cool sound designy fills and stuff. But yeah, being like, yo, I'm gonna make a whole track that's like neuro or whatever. with like funky rhythms and all that other stuff. I feel like it's just too much to pay attention to, is kind of what I'm realizing. Although it would be nice to, yeah, I don't know. It could be cool to maybe like hopefully back off of this and not do this. But what this stuff is designed for, 808 style basses are always super useful. Zane, do you know that track? I don't know if Chi put it out yet, but he sent me a mix of like his recent releases, but it's the one that goes I really want to make a song like that, but just that fucking that moment, uh oh my god, is so cool. With standard bass or 808 that become more complex with MPE or pressure, then you can control your fills. Yeah, exactly. That's so you're still going to have to resample with using this realistically. However, if you have something on here, like let's say you've got, let me just do that. So like a, you know, something that's just inspired by, and then you could do this as the second half. Then what's cool about this is like, especially if you use Bitwig, you can go into the pressure and the timbre here and just play. So actually, hold on, let me show you what that looks like. But the point of these patches are just trying to make it as usable as possible, but like change the bass patch into an instrument. So that way you don't have to like look at to like insane modulation and stuff or like resampling a billion times. It's all just kind of like a starting point to be usable. But yeah, if you look at the timbre on this, is that what that is? That's what this is. Then whenever we modify this, you can kind of cycle it, you know what I mean? And change the scaling or, you know, have different iterations of this. And then, or not. I would only do one or the other. I wouldn't do both at the same time. But if you turn this off and then do it with this one, with the pressure, then you can have different degrees of how much the mix is for the neuro stuff, which is kind of cool. Because if you change the mean of this and you flip this over to the pressure now, then you can utilize this for different moments, you know? So maybe on this moment you go here, and then maybe right here you take this one and pull this one up. So now instead of, let me duplicate this and turn all of these off. Instead of just this, sorry, instead of just this, you've got and then you can even do something like this to where you turn this off and then you turn this up. But there's another level of control as well, because within these you have these modifiable LFOs here, which I leave these open, or I think at least so far I have. But what's cool is that now you can also have another sense of automation, because for one, you can change the phase of all of these. So if we go like this, you can change that. You can also just change the shape. So we can have like some kind of crazy modulation on all of these. So I don't know, something like that. I try not to make these too insane, but you know, Hey, Ryan. And then you can also randomize the phase if you want. So that way these will make random shapes and whatnot, which I think is only really useful for resampling, but it's still kind of cool that we still have something there if you want to utilize it. I think that the reason why I chose to just use an LFO over a randomizer and a wavetable LFO is because the wavetable LFO can cycle through 256 different frames. However, this can still create spontaneous shapes. So this can always give you a new shape, right? So you can do something like this. And then now when you go back to it, you know, let's say like that's your iteration or whatever, you get something that is both random and repeatable. And I think that's been the theme, because typically in the past with these other bases that I've been making and stuff, for the most part, I think that like all the Requiem stuff, which this is out, by the way, if anybody's interested, but things like Requiem 1 through 3, whenever we turn the filter on, it's always going to do random shit. So these are kind of mapped to something that I guess I gave you the choice between an LFO and a random, but for the most part, these are just mapped to random movements. So which is cool, but it doesn't quite sound the same. And then the difference between this and the other stuff that I'm making now is that this is designed to give you everything. So this will give you percussion, kicks and claps. This can also turn into pads. You can switch this into a granular synth if you want to. Change it into a pluck. Then this will also create like random glitches for you if you want. Which is really cool for like industrial design and stuff. This will change this into a metallic lead. And then of course you have a sub. But the thing with this is that, for one, this is incredibly CPU intensive because of how many effects and racks that are into this. And the other thing is that it doesn't really have a core focus. It's kind of designed to be a starting point to get you everything. Whereas this stuff is just bass. This is just designed to make this bass as usable as possible. And yeah, I think that going in this direction is not only going to be more friendly towards people's computers, but it's also going to be less about resampling. And you're kind of a genius at Faceplant. You should do an official video for them. I don't think so. I mean, I've chatted with them about a lot of stuff, but I don't think that they've never been interested. I'll say that much. But also, like, I think that it's not that I'm really smart about this. I think that this is what they wanted, if that makes sense. They kind of, like, that's the whole point of semi-modular synthesis, is to utilize this stuff to build these racks that are meant to be like crazy shit. Your first patch is the core. Well, right, yeah. I mean, you have to have a starting point, but that's kind of the whole purpose behind having like multipass and snap heap as effect racks, right? Especially because there's a mix knob on them. That means that you can like turn stuff off and then turn them off and then have them interact with each other. And when you kind of look at sound design in that way, that's really that's honestly why I love Faceplant so much, is because it really teaches you how to develop a relationship between effects. My ears just can't say no. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to charge for this. I also don't know how many patches I'm going to do, but this is really nice and way less stressful than doing the all-in-one patches and stuff. The Requiem 3 was kind of the last hurrah of that, and now I'm on to different things. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it'll go as far as your computer can handle, you know? And that's both a blessing and a curse, but for me, like if at all possible, I'm really trying to like sit back and refine um how powerful is my computer. It's an M3 Max, so but yeah, really trying to refine the presets and really hone in on like making each individual thing of what it's initially about like much better. So an example of that is this is a cool thing. This is a musical patch, and what it's designed to do is morph between granular and digital synthesis. But on this, I have a selector here that are these smaller, albeit more varied effect racks that you can use to change the aesthetic of what these patches offer. So, for example, let's say I have this on grains, and then I play something here. We can change this to, and then we can change this into plucks and keys. We can add FM to change it into a bell. Change the FM table. We can add a fifth. But where this gets really cool is the special knob, because what the special knob will do, and you have to turn this on and then modulate this, but what's interesting about this is that when we send this through 4 different effect racks, then it's going to change the aesthetic of what it's supposed to be. So this is kind of like old 80s, phaser flanger. Let me change this, turn this off. Let me go to the next one, which is more of just like delays. Then we have this one, which is more of like convolution. And then this is inspired by a lot of the stuff that Cage has showed me, which is more distortion and more of like harsh frequencies that are still supposed to be like leads and stuff. You might notice that I've turned it down quite a bit. That's because it can get really harsh, but you hear the distortion now. Yeah, basically, it's supposed to be kind of. I would say that this sounds incredibly thin compared to everything that Lorne does, but you're basically sending convolution reverb into distortion and then trying to control the dynamics. Hey, Levi, long time no see. But yeah, I have tutorials on this, and what this basically does, or how you set this up, is by utilizing these remaps here. And then you just set them all to effect 1, and what this does is modify the effects here. As you can see, you have the gain in the mix, and so it'll just cycle through all of these and have a final chain at the end. And that allows you to, kind of have an effect selector, if you will. But yeah, but all of that is confined within a single style of sound. You know, this is just pads and plucks and things that are supposed to be musical. Yo, Levi, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Since you're gifting memberships, I think that Soul Steel, I think that I'm going to do the same. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. If you don't have gifting memberships on, then do me a favor and turn on gifting. You can find it on chat, I believe, on your settings. But yeah, since you're gifting, I think that I'm going to return the favor. Thank you so much. Tis the season, bitches. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Levi. Hold on 1 sec. There we go. Thank you, Levi. I really appreciate that. Did
Soul Steel.
That was weird. Okay. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what those are the two dynamics of these patches that I'm trying to create that kind of give you a little bit more to work with, if that makes sense. So I think it was yeah, it was I think he made that song in G. That's that Chi song that I was talking about, but it was like oh man, it was so cool. Yeah, so anyways, there's that. Let's go ahead and pull some other stuff up now. I think that I'm going to utilize life. And now we'll just get into making some random shit, I think. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I was just talking about with Faceplant? Okay. That's probably more than enough, to be honest. Where? What? Do what? Yeah. With all of that stuff. You never heard of this plugin? It's a pretty cool plugin. It's like an AI sampler thing that will take a recording of whatever you put into it and automatically slice it and create drum patterns for you. I just record a bunch of Foley and stuff and do that. Somebody asked me to make a video about Foley, and I was like, I just did that recently. Hey, Twan. Thank you. You as well. So right now I'm just making drums out of whatever it was that I got. This is typically how I make drums these days, is I try to take something natural and then amalgamate it to something physical sounding, and add certain stuff to it. It makes no sense. I usually try to take things that are not kicks and snares and turn them into kicks and snares. Uh, just because I enjoy this process. It's kind of like a um, what happened there? Okay. Okay. Bro. No. God damn it. Just just try to remix an old mini disc recording. Spent today synthesizing drums for practice. Once I turned a kick into a pad with pulse stretch. I think I have a video on that. It was a really good one that ended up using two in a beat. Yeah, I have this video called Audio Alchemy. And it's just basically talking about that concept where you can turn anything into anything. And the whole point of it is to understand that, like, when it comes into sounds and harmonics and stuff, like, one harmonic is a sine wave. You know, if you have a full frequency range of stuff, it's like, either depending on how you look at it, if it's digital, it's going to sound just like a thin saw wave, or if it's, everything, it'll sound like white noise for a full frequency sound. So if you take that into consideration and you kind of play along in the mid betweens, then you can change anything into anything, which is kind of what the whole goal is. And then figuring out how to do that unlocks a lot of doors for you to make every kind of sound that you make useful. I don't want this to be that long. Seems okay. We can always do more to it later. Maybe I can replace this with a different sound. It's kind of nice. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is find something that I can kind of use as a rim shot. Actually, I'm just going to go find a rim shot because I made a bunch yesterday. And I don't feel like making more drums at the moment. Um, okay, so I don't want this to do that every time, but we want to find something to get that to kind of hold everything together. Some cool stuff in there. We can use that as an extra layer. And get into something like this. Probably just find some stuff kind of like this to where you've got these little individual choppies, you know, something that's a little bit more spread out. And then we're kind of just looking for stuff that might sound kind of cool, I guess. Okay. Okay. Hello. Welcome. Welcome back. Let's grab the frequency shifter plus and turn this up. It's kind of cool.
Recording to logbook.
Yo, thank you, Joe Spataro. Crazy how I was having some issues following the groove, and I added some new sounds, and my brain goes, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's like almost there, but not. But then you kind of do some things to kind of like let it lead together and whatnot. But I don't know. Sometimes I think it sounds really cool, and then it's just like, dude, what are you doing? I really like that sound, but I don't think that it fits in that context. So we're gonna kind of keep chiseling away and see if I can make something fit with this, you know. And just I don't know. I really like this sound. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Let's grab a frequency shifter again and see if we can just modify it, because it's not really important. It's really about the placement of the rhythm that I care about. Actually, I think I really like that. Okay. Cobe. I could have sworn that's what I was typing. Something that I'm trying to be more aware of whenever I'm making stuff like this is to really try to have more contrasting sounds behind all the drums, you know? Okay, so it's a good starting point, but now I want to fuck with the groove and make it a little bit more groovy. And so it's going to kind of just require a little bit of pushing and pulling on certain things. And now we can kind of iterate on some of the variations and stuff. So, motherfucker. Hey, GB. Who's H and Y? Oh, yo, Happy New Year. I was like, what? Happy New Year, everybody. So maybe we can line one up right there. So like a... Skip one. It's like my favorite thing to do right there at some point is to just have that beat that's like 1/16 late. But a lot of times, if you have something that can bridge that space, then it helps it. Yeah. Nice. Okay. How have you been liking it? I've been thinking about hopping over because Ableton version prices are wild. I switched over from Ableton to Bitwig in 2019 and haven't looked back. um, yeah, I agree. Cool. So some other tool that I've been using, which Zane, I need to send this to you. But did we all talk about this? Yeah, I did. I made a video on it. Oh, fucking Aiden. Aiden. He's saved my life yesterday. You guys want to see something really cool? Check this out. Look at this. So I didn't know this, but you can modify custom key commands and build your own script from things that you cannot modulate. Fucking Aiden, he's a G. So if you go to this over here, which I'm sure that some of you already knew this, but what you can do is click on something and then map a keybind to it as a script. So what that means is even though I can't hit this button to toggle a randomizer via another modulator, I set this to Command R, and that will randomize these modifiers every time I hit the button. Look at that. So because of that, what I can do is I can use the stepwise thing or whatever as you know, as God intended with all of this crazy randomization and stuff. And then I can use this to create new harmonies and stuff. Yeah, that was such a cool trick that I learned from Cage. I've learned a lot of really cool shit recently. Did you know about that, Zane? Or have you two talked about that before? Or yeah, he's both. He does some stuff in certain things. We're gonna use Harmony Bloom. The key filter is okay, but this just has more variation. So if you have this set here, and then you change this up to whatever, and then you set this to a chord of like minor 7, 8, 9, set this to G, because that's what I wrote this in, and then we can pick between all these other scales, then you can get something that's like a nice middle ground between everything. So if I go like G Phrygian or whatever, then you can get some cool shit. I don't talk to anyone and no one talks to me. That's not true. I feel like I reach out a lot. So, oh. Sorry. Let's click on this and make it spectral. This is gonna add latency to it, but that's okay. Because when I pull it out from this, it's gonna be fine. I don't know of another streamer that pays so much attention to the chat. I don't know what to say. They should. I feel like any good streamer would, like, isn't that why you stream? Or that's why I would stream anyways, or that's why I do that. I cannot stand when I'm streaming and like I don't have anyone to talk to. Like there are times where I get really in the zone of stuff, but what makes streaming so fun is having the interaction with people, you know? Like I'm making a stupid fucking beat right now, but at the same time, like I'm having a conversation with somebody and, you know, being able to kind of modify and do other things, you know, as opposed to me just sitting by myself. Because if I wanted to sit by myself, I wouldn't stream. You out, Zane? Happy New Year. Love you. Yeah. Let's catch up soon. I stopped interacting ages ago and just watch and enjoy. I mean, that's fine too. You know, like it's not your obligation, but the fact that I choose to go live, that's my obligation, right? Or it should be anyways. I don't think that my music is so hot fire shit that people should just flock to me and be like, "Oh, what is Alchemy gonna do?" It's more of like, no, here's a hangout spot, and everyone is welcome, provided that you're respectful. Uh, Everyone go follow Zane. He's a G. Hey Rhino, what's up? I actually really like a lot of stuff in this, to be honest. So we can kind of just fuck around on that and see if we can find anything interesting. What did I do with the step sequencer? Phase plan, stepwise. Oh. Oh. Bitwig seems like really fun with all the modulation available. I think with the promotion they have right now, you might buy it. I mean, if you have any questions on it, I'm happy to go through it. My method in explaining as I go is incredibly valuable to you. It has been since I started watching. I'm trying to be better about that because for the last few months, I've just been producing and just being like, hey, chat, if you have questions and stuff, then. But I do think that the narration, along with like what my intention is and trying to find stuff, is important to try to keep up. And it's better for me anyways as being is trying to be entertaining. Is it modulation or lots of automation? It's modulation. So I just put up a video about this if you want to go take a look at it. But what this is doing is this is a step sequencer, and the top row here is modifying the timing of each step to either push it forward or late. And then the bottom is actually the pitch range. So I'm utilizing modulation to create a melody, and then I'm sending that through a key filter, which puts it into a scale, and then just like messing around with shit and seeing what comes about. But yeah, this is all modulation. But the key thing about Bitwig is that it has built-in modulators to everything, provided that there's a CC control. So, if you wanted to, do I have this installed? I do. Okay. So with Serum, like Serum is cool, but the modulators on it that you have are very limited to, where's the global tab? To this, right? To chaos, sample and hold. That's all you have. But let's say you have a filter that you want to randomize. Well, you see here that it's attached to a CC. So what you can do is just type in random, and there's like tons of randomizers and shit that you can use. But now you'll see that this is going to jump and do different shit in order to, you know what I mean? So everything that your music is cool, by the way. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So this means that you can make anything somewhat modular, I think is the best way to describe that. Macros. Yeah. I mean, I've built a lot of tools for Ableton, even in Live 12, and I just can't stand it. I hate it. There are some things that I miss from Ableton, but it hasn't been enough to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to Ableton. It's more of like, that's inconvenient, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, if you like, MIDI stuff, Bitwig has got you. If you like, audio, I think that Bitwig has the best audio workflow out of any DAW. I know that's saying a lot, but I have the means to back it up if anybody wants to challenge it. It has incredible integration with hardware, both for MIDI controllers and like actual hardware stuff. It has a modular environment, which is the grid. It has a MIDI modular environment, which is the note grid, an effects modular environment, which is the effect grid, and then it has crazy resampling stuff, internal recording that makes it a little bit easier now. This is not part of Bitwig. This is Rolling Sampler, but this is really like the end all be all. Yeah, there's so much stuff that Bitwig offers that I absolutely love. I will say though, the thing that I think is the most off-putting about Bitwig is that on one end it sound like the sounds that come out of it are really fat, but they're very dark. So it's very hard without third-party tools to like make something sound, rich and bright, if that makes sense. But a lot of their stuff is modeled off of analog algorithms, the filters, their internal engines, all that other stuff. So like the actual sounds that you get out of them are extremely raw and very powerful. Very fat, I think would be the best way to say that. And with the most recent update within the last year, like for example, they added a clipper, they added a bunch of new effects and tools. They have a bunch, like their most recent update is with drums. So they have like 808 models, 909 models. The saturator can be used for that. Ableton just has the OTT and tons of different distortion. Yeah. Well, I mean, it also has a wave shaper now, like a custom wave shaper. So if you go filter plus, you just turn the filter off and you go to a transfer curve here, then look, here you go. If you change this and you turn this off, then this is more of like a fruity wave shaper, where some people in the comment sections are going to fucking fight me. But now this is more traditional means to where you have the quiet parts to the zero crossing and then the loud parts to the right, and you can modify it. But then you also have these other modeled distortion types like Chevy Chev. You have all that other stuff. And then if you want to have bipolar distortion, which is what this is, then if we go to reset curve, then you have the waveform bias. So this would treat the bottom of the waveform. This would treat the top of the waveform. You've got frequency splitters, which are okay. They introduce a lot of phase alteration, which is not the ideal. However, something that Aiden told me yesterday is that the frequency split, this is non-linear. So what that means is that there is zero phase alteration with this. It will create some latency, but if I wanted to build an OTT, it most likely would be through this to where was that? Where did I put that? Yeah, so you'd get latency, but you can put an OTT on this. Or you can turn this into an OTT rather, a 4-band OTT, if you will. I am curious if this actually limits sounds now, because this has been broken up until this point. Each channel's gain applied before the limiter. When the spectral limiter is enabled, gain adjustments will be visualized when the spectrum display is set to pre. Spectral limiting. So if I set this to -1, -4, the last time that I tried to mess with this, it was totally broken. No, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let's find out. Yeah, that doesn't work. I guess it does. But it has to be like this. Maybe. Yeah, it still doesn't work. I don't understand how that's supposed to operate, whatever. But the cool thing is that there is a clipper built into it, or built into Bitwig now. And so if you want to make your shit really loud, like, here's an example. Polysynth. 2 voices. Detune by 20. Turn the filter off. Adjust the drive. Turn the filter on. We're doing plus 10 dB. Somewhere around the mids, whatever. And then you have an over, which is a clipper. You can turn the makeup on, maybe by like 2 decibels, but listen to how big this is. That's 3 effects. 3 effects. So, you know, if you have something like that and then you send it through, you know, a multipass thing or whatever, which we can just use the rack that I just built and then send it through that. And then it's like, okay, well, yeah. So, oh, if we turn off that, and then you grab the macro. I prefer to do it this way because the pitch bend on here, or the pitch stuff, is kind of difficult to work with. But if you just set this to, you know, 24-ish, doesn't need to be perfect. Yeah. Making stuff loud, long story short, within Bitwig is very easy. Okay. Here. Wait. Why does that sound different? Take that out. Okay. Let's throw beam on this. Does anybody have any questions about anything? It's kind of cool. Just kind of watching, listening. Beam is cool. Friend got it recently. Yeah, it's one of my favorites for granular effects. I think it's better than Portal, and they've got some stuff coming on the way that's going to make it even better. So now I'm just trying to throw a neurosound in there and see how it does. See if it's interesting at all or not. I might just want to not. Yeah, that's probably what I want to do. Is grab the mod wheel. Some basic automation like that should be pretty cool. So like a nice. Have you ever listened to high level beatboxing? There's a lot of inspiration from complex electronic music like this. They have a lot of complex sound design and rhythm changes patterns. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny you say that. I If you get the chance, please go watch the interview that I have with Monkey Rascal because we talk about how beatboxing leads us to this kind of music. So if anybody doesn't know, my genre of what we're making now is future beats or halftime. It's basically really wonky beats with sound design. So part of the way that we get to that is the approach, of how we, kind of how you think about going about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk about this a lot, but if I were to try to make a beat like this just by doing this, let's just pretend like this is a good kick and snare, right? And this is what most people do. Raise your hand if this is you. And then you're like, okay, now what comes next? You are almost like never going to get to this from this. It's just not going to happen. And the reason why is because of the approach of like the way that you're going about it. It would be like, I'm going to try to sit down and make drum and bass, but compose it all on a piano. And I'm not talking about liquid drum and bass with chords and shit. I'm talking about like, shit like that. Like people don't play a piano like that. It's not the same thing. Likewise, the melodies that I come up with on a guitar are likely going to vary quite a bit from something that I would write on a piano because the way you play it, the way you interact with it is a lot different. So the approach has to be different. But when it comes into, the rhythms of this kind of music, right? Beatboxing is one of the best ways to do what we would call audiating. Audiating is the practice of imagining something in your head and vocalizing it. Usually it's with a melody or with a rhythm or something, but we have this in between here with the beatboxing and stuff, right? That you can utilize to maybe not exactly replicate what it is that you hear in your head, but it gives you a little bit more of like, okay, this is the direction that I'm going for. So there have been many times where I've taken a beatbox recording and thrown it on here and then like put kicks and snares over the moments of that. But then it leads you to something that I just put up another video of about, which is called rubato, which is how you get to this kind of shit. The grooviness of it, right? The vibe. But that's kind of how this stuff works. Maybe Elastic Pro and see what happens if I... We definitely need some vocals over this. Yeah, definitely need some vocals over this. And then what we'll do is try to put in some stop gates in there. I mean, you kind of have to with electronic music. Well, you don't have to, but I feel like it encourages you to do that, you know? Yo, what's up? How are you, bro? How long is this? 46 seconds? About a minute long. I feel that. So I'm going to stretch this out and turn this into something. We're going to use this. And then we can slide this. Command J, Command B, pitch. And then what we can do with this is kind of just keep that there for a hot sec. And then we'll switch up the snare into a rim shot. Well, this is already kind of a rim shot, but maybe what we can do is just do that and then change this into something that I like to do a lot, which is maybe put a band pass over this around here. And then we can possibly let's grab a convolution. I'm going to do something else very fast. I'm going to grab some random metal and just see if I can get something resonant very quickly. There we go. Take this, throw it in here, and then see what that sounds like on its own. Halftime or future beats, kind of they kind of play along either one or the other. I think that future beats is more distinct, but halftime, it came from halftime drum and bass, but then it evolved into more hip hop stuff. So I would just, yeah. There we go.
Recording to logbook.
Yo, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. Halftime before, I like it. Yo, thank you, Nail Gun Stanley. You guys have very creative names. I need to right click this and go save as default because every time I pull this up, it always goes into a side thing and that drives me crazy. Okay, I need to listen to how loud this is in comparison to this. So 7. Okay, so I can make this a little bit louder. There we go. Okay, so you can hear that there's that really high-pitched sound, and that's this little pre-snare thing. And we need to change that to something that's going to match the energy of the snare. There we go. You hear how now it sounds natural of like a flam of like a that feels much better to me. I think like you said, just beatboxing and then also like there's a lot that you can take from techno for sure. Like thinking about 808s and kicks as one, kind of like a techno rumble or something to where it's like boom, the impact of that. The mixing stuff from techno, the drive of techno. There's a lot of stuff that you can utilize from stuff that you already know. It's just that usually the initial like entry point you have to change your perspective. But if you're accustomed to making hip hop, like a couple of really easy things. I think that I've got like I if anybody's new here, I'd please go binge watch my content because I have videos on all of this stuff. But some very easy stuff in order to get things sounding a little bit more groovy is like making your snare early and then making your making your hats late. Even if they're quantized, but then you make everything a little bit late or a little bit early, like shifting stuff around like that is a great starting point. And then eventually what will happen is you'll see this stuff, right? Where it's on, it's late, it's late, it's on, it's late, you know. Go watch the Rubato video, actually. I just put it up like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Go watch the Rubato video. That'll help you so much with this genre. Hey, Robert. Are you saying that you're from techno as well? I'm kind of curious. How did you find me? So, like, here's a great example, right? So, this is cool, but if you were to do something like this to where you move some of it off, like this, listen to how this is going to change the groove. And even though it's off, because it repeats, like, imagine this loops, then no matter how messed up you make this, you're gonna be able to catch it. But do you see how much more vibey that is? Then let me duplicate this. So listen to this. And then listen to this. You see, it gives you a lot more of well, it's a lot more vibe. Ha, vibes. Ha ha. I'm just kidding. Oh, thanks for checking it out. Yeah, Ned just came. So now I think, like, because most of the identity of the track is there, it's kind of just a matter of it's kind of just a matter of like making little changes and stuff to it, you know. Where's the filter at? What might be beneficial for this is to back off of this. So oh, that's fine. I mean, just that, like, even if people are here and they're not talking and saying stuff, like, I appreciate that I have an audience. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm trying to grow the channel and stuff, but when I say start, Drambo days? I've been around a lot longer than that. I think I started covering Drambo in 2023, 2022 maybe. So 2-3 years ago. Okay, so now we'll switch this up. And just throw in some kind of fill here. And something that I like to do is to just throw like a snap heap rack on here. Something like a glitch rack. And just turn this up and see what we get. Sure. That was easy. And we can add some OTT to that.
Recording to logbook.
And then now we can just place this in certain spots in order to kind of help give it some more energy. Thank you for the follow, Jared. Appreciate it. No, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, hey, I've had a YouTube channel since 2018, but I didn't really start. Oh yeah, actually, that's when September 2018. That's when I really started like hammering tutorials and stuff. I think June of 2018 was the first time I uploaded a video. And then coming into that, I really started like taking it serious. I think right here, yeah. So I don't know if I want to do that trick twice. I think just once with moving the kick off like that. It's probably okay. Cool. So we made a little beat today. Now, the next question is, what kind of vocal should I put over this? Hey, Gwyneth, long time no see. Breathy singing? No, it's gotta be rap vocals. That's kind of where I'm at. Why does it sound like that? The reason why I don't want to do singing stuff is because this is like a gangster beat. You know what I mean? And singing puts it in a totally different place that I'm not. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. I think this is a good place to like kick off the new year, you know, with a gangster track that's very simple but easy to listen to. I'll probably continue to develop this more, but as of now, it's at least listenable and has a cohesive theme, you know. But in all of my tracks, something that is really important for me to do is to have a wonky beat. I need at least 8 bars to switch up the snare, and then I need there to be at least like 1 or 2 narrow basses, which I think that we've checked those boxes. You know, ideally, I would love to be making stuff that's just like, sorry, but that's so difficult to do, and then every time I try to commit to that, it puts me in this downward spiral of not making music anymore because I'm so particular with what I want out of it. But you know, I think that just taking a step back and really forcing myself to not worry about that for one, and being like, hey, I think as many days as possible for this year, I wrote something down and I said, you cannot make a new project until you finish the one you start. So you know what I'm saying? I think that just committing to that again, because that's something that really helped kickstart me at the beginning of last year, was I was like, hey, no matter what, I have to finish what I start. And so coming into that, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. So with that, yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm not really done streaming. I don't really know what else to do to this though, other than get vocals. Um, which I don't really know how I want to do that. That's still, I guess I could sample it through the analog heat. Now that I think of it. Uh, yeah. I don't know. I could do questions if you all have it. We could do something else. I could do sound design or maybe open up a different synth or yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? What else could we do that could be fun? I'm gonna listen to this one more time. Because it's what makes it worth listening to, you know? Okay, so something that I want to do with this is we're gonna toss this in here. Just have some different seems legit. That worked out. We're gonna do that, and then I think what I'm also going to do is yeah. So I'm gonna do another spin on this percussion, but I think that I'm gonna try to make it a little bit more wide and a little bit more open. So I'm gonna grab a convolution here. Listening to from a flow perspective, having sections that drop into the gangster beats, the spotlight of the vocals or funk, or that are created would allow for some sonic airplay. Whoa, hold on. Listening from a flow perspective, having sections that drop into a gangster beat to spotlight the vocals or funk vocals. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. As in just a gangster beat to clarify. Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is in this section, I'm going to try to create some contrast that is still fitting, but in a different space. So I'm going to take this percussion and I'm going to resample it through a convolution and some different distortion types and see if I can get it to get some other stuff along with a delay. Probably that would be ideal. I'm going to turn off the sidechain group and we're going to do like 3 of these. We're going to take off the low end of this and then we'll add a gate. There we go. Did I add this yet? I didn't. So I'm actually going to use an audio follower on this. Audio. And I'm going to allow this to duck the threshold. So that way, because if I turn this threshold down, then the fuse compressor is pulling the noise floor out of the filter, which is really annoying. Yeah, that bothers me. Oh, I'm using an audio rate. I want an envelope follower. Sorry. I'm gonna turn that off for a sec. Now I can use a gate. Sorry. A delay. Hey, baby. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. So now with all of this, we can turn this off. And turn all this other stuff back on. Or just bored of normal sequencing patterns. Yeah, I think that, like, the more accessible something is, the easier it is to get bored of it, you know? Like, I'm about to say something probably extremely rude to some people, but I mean no harm by it, I promise. But it really bothers me when someone's trying to showcase something, especially like hardware, and the first thing that they do is put on a 4/4 beat. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I love techno and stuff, but it's like, okay, so let me show you how to cook on this. Boop, 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 boop. And then it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? Show me something else that's cool. Yeah, so with this stuff, I think it's going to be nice because we can kind of turn this off. I'm offended. No, you're not. You don't make techno. Oh. I was like, why does it sound like that? That's because this is the kick. That's our kick layer. There we go. So we can take that. Something like that. Something like that. gonna see if I can create something interesting from this. It's not really coming together yet, but it will, hopefully. Alok feels the same about techno that I do about country. I think a lot came from techno. Wait, Alec, didn't you just say that you came from techno? Some amazing country songs, but most of them are bad. I like techno. Techno's fine. It's just that, like, it's not the best genre to showcase, you know, some new technology or something. You know? Well, the next question would be what is, but, you know. You have a point there. I like that. Okay, so something I think would be really helpful with all of this is to take this and try to make it a little bit shorter and try to push the transient up just a little bit. Sounds like my stomach on any given weeknight. We'll add some distortion to here and pull this up just a little bit. Clip this. Add some EQ. Nice. I like that a lot. So something I want to do with this as well is create a soundstage to where it's got a little bit more reverb in the background. So, AKA SGA is my new producer tag. Ska. Ska. Nice. Free your mind and close the eye. Cool. I also want to make that really wide. There we go. That way that has a little bit more soundstage to it as well, because we have plenty of stuff in here that's got mid-side EQ, but that little flutter kind of gives it a little bit more opening and helps separate everything else. So now we're going to give the drum groove, the entire thing, a little bit of room reverb. And that just kind of helps everything blend a little bit better. Okay, I want to see, did I make any claps yesterday? Or was it on Monday or Wednesday? I did. I made a few. So something else that I can do is kind of just add a little bit of texture to some of the stuff here. So and then what I can do now is come into this and find something else that I can layer over the other one now. So maybe not every time, but just something that provides different hits to kind of cool. What does that sound like in context? I'm gonna grab all of these and see if I can pitch them down. And then I'm actually gonna move these a little bit further off this way. There we go. And then I'm going to turn them down a little bit. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you were to Google, or sorry, if you were to YouTube neurobase tutorial, there I am. Here I am. Here I am. That's also me. That's also me. That's me. That's me. That's me. Yeah, that's me. Long story short, I've got a lot of shit. If you go on to my channel, view my channel, go to playlists, comprehensive guide to neurobase. Sorry, I think this is a I think that's a members only thing. But hold on. I should have something here that says base stuff. Base tutorials. Yeah, so and I don't even think this is all of them.
This is my favorite tuning.
This guy. But yeah, all the way back from 2018 up until today. Oh, yeah, this is actually behind. But yeah, I mean, if you type in neurobase Alckemy, like, I have so many videos on this stuff. And I also do it from scratch, like, just about every day I stream. The stuff that I would watch now, though, is the Phase Plant Chronicles. Because most of this stuff is base related. But this was one that I did 5 days ago. It's base design, base design, base design, base design. Episode 1, base design, base design, base design. Yeah, so whatever you need. Everything that you want to know how to do, if I know how to do it, I've made a video about. Yeah, I'm just kind of pointing you in the direction of where to find it. That's cool. Yeah, I think like having like Joey Badass over this, or MF Doom, or some like super monotone rapper or something would be really cool. And there's the space for it, but yeah, cool. Does anyone have any questions? Do you have any questions? Probably about my bass. Will I do another tune submission stream soon? I don't know, maybe if I can get enough people to do it. I used to reserve it for Saturdays, but it went from like too many people to nobody showing up. So I tried to do tune challenges. Nobody showed up. And then I just started being like, fuck it, I'm just going to play games on Saturday. Putting these neurobass sounds with industrial hard clip kicks would sound sick. Yeah, I mean, I have tracks like um I just remixed this new metal track from the Pretty Wild, and that's a little bit more heavy. Like this was kind of just like a, you know, a gangster roller or whatever, but this is, yeah, I make really heavy music too. It's just hard to do. Yeah, so there's that. I mean, today was, like I said, a roller, but I mean, I also put it in IDM, lots of different genres and stuff, but it's usually never like the forefront of the track. But yeah, the only time I high pass a kick is if there's anti-aliasing on the bottom that causes like some weird phase thing. But other than that, I leave the low end in it because I want it to be like, I want the kick to hit you in the chest, you know, generally speaking with my kind of music. But I'm sure I got some basses in here somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, but generally speaking, it's pretty sporadic whenever I use basses with it. It's just like it's so hard to make it convincing. Like, let me bounce this track out very quickly. I'm glad that I made something today that I actually don't hate, because it's been a dry spell for a really long time. But that's kind of what you have to do sometimes, is to, I don't know, if I try to make really heavy music, I just end up hating it. I really want it to be like, how do I say this? I really want to make music that makes me feel the way that the people that I look up to makes me feel, but I don't know if that's achievable. Yes. However, if you try to do something like this, like some people do, some people have been able to pull it off. I've never been successful in making something convincing that utilizes, let me just bounce out some basses and I don't know, give me a key. Anywhere from D to G sharp. Actually, I don't care. Give me a key. You didn't see that. I'm going to talk about something with this that I think is really important. Actually, I did talk about it not too long ago, but this would be like a part 2. F sharp. Okay. So let's say I bounce out a bunch of basses, right? And I'll just leave this on. You know. Okay. So like, let's say I have all these phrases, right? And let's say I'm going to build a bass line just from this. This is going to be my starting point. It's very difficult to use a riff, or to come up with a riff like this that's actually going to sound good on its own. I could find something, you know, or just like, that's kind of cool. Something else that you could do if you use Bitwig is you can pull this over and just use this as a bank. So it can be like, I like that. It's kind of cool. Those are kind of samey. cool. You really don't want to have too much variation in this. So you could use these all as downbeat basses, right? And then what you might want to do is go back into this and like there's a lot of ways to tackle this. So don't take this as gospel, but you can do something like that. That sounds pretty cool. Pull that into here. Yeah. So what I would do is, or something that you can do is this. The other thing that you can do is just have something like this here and go F sharp, short hit, something like this, and then just start fucking with the recording. So, or sorry, just start messing with the patch. So you can do something like and then what you can do from there is take this, and this can go as far as you want to, but you can take this and throw this into a sampler. And you can set, or you can automate the playhead of this. So, you can come up with something completely different if you wanted to, or you can set a loop on here, kind of like so, and move the loop over here. So, hold on. Oops, wait, what happened? F sharp 0. And you can automate that and create new stuff. But at a certain point, you're kind of getting to chops kind of like this, right? And then from there, it's like, all right, well, what am I going to do? Come up with a phrase, I guess. So you do something like this and you start trying to throw shit together. So maybe like having an anchor point is super helpful. Yeah, let's just say we've got a drum beat or whatever, and we're already at that point. So we can do something kind of like this. Actually, this is going to paint a really big picture for why this shit is so hard, especially for drum beats like this. It's already fucking cheesy. Oh no. Oh no. So yeah, you could. This is yeah. I just. How did we get there? So you'd probably do something like this, you know, where you've got like a consistent sound. You know what I mean? But like this just like it's cheesy. And it sounds extremely forced. Although I will say some things that can help with this is if you do a mix of neurosounds and 808s. But yeah, this sounds like it just sounds way too try-hardy, you know? Yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying to make music this way. It just like the whole entire approach just is thrown off. Like you have to there's a different kind of inception that you have to work with whenever making stuff like this. Is knowing when to stop working on a track. You don't finish what you start. What I would recommend for something like this is playing a melody with an 808. So So something like that, and just. But when is it finished? It can always be better. Oh, at a certain point, like something Zane said is that at a certain point you have to kill your darlings. That's kind of what that comes down to. Yeah, you got to kill your darlings. But the biggest thing is like, is the arrangement done? Can you get to the arrangement? Is the arrangement complete? You've got a beginning, a middle, and end. Then at that point, that's when you're like, okay, well, you know, then it could be done. Like the thing that I made today, it didn't have a second half. It was just a beat. But if you can make a main section that has an intro, main idea, outro, like you have something, you know? You don't have to like do a crazy ass break and then have a completely different second drop. Like if you have an idea for it and it comes to you, then sure. But it doesn't have to be that, especially if you make beats like this. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, it can go as far or as shallow as you want it to. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think that just these drums in general, like I make my drums so loud and so obnoxious that it's really hard to put anything else over or under them, you know? Which is sometimes cool, but sometimes it's not. Like, yeah, I don't know. For me, the mixing a track is a process of a good few days. I don't mix. Like all of my songs are not mixed. Like I don't I just make stuff cuz I try not to worry about it too much, you know. I also kind of like when you make stuff, you kind of already have a feel for like where things are supposed to go. So I guess like during the design aspect, there's also like a mix as you go approach, I guess. But I also would not be the person to talk to about mixes. I mean, my stuff is pretty rough. Like it's listenable, but I wouldn't say that like the mix is good. I just try to make sure that you can hear everything. Hmm. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe something like this would be better with like just a melody over it. Like, that kind of fits, you know? But I had to turn everything down, and then now I would turn everything back up. Usually I try to do the opposite, where I just keep that there and then, like, crank this up. That's where you have something like random. Hmm. Yeah, maybe with like some convolution reverb or something. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's still stupid. Anyway, it's what's it called? It's called Random. I covered it. I covered it on Wednesday, Monday, Monday or Wednesday. But I'll have a review on it pretty soon. I'm gonna cover all of their plugins. But yeah, I don't really have anything else that I want to do today. Does anybody have any questions about anything or whatever? Do you have any questions? I still need to get some vocals on that on what we made today, but I'll go and source it from Instagram or something and then go find what I want to do with it after. Need to take out some high frequencies of that too. Yeah, me too. Their halftime stuff is really sick. Or their breakbeat stuff is super cool too. But Noisia is like... Noisia's kind of doing their own thing now anyways, you know? And I think that Nick has done a lot of different stuff, but I really like what he's been putting out lately. I made a song that was super inspired by what is it? I keep repeating the same thing. Whatever song that was. That was such a cool song. Like so much texture and like so much like, oh shit, that was super sick. But yeah. All right. Well, much love, guys. I think I'm gonna go. I might take a nap, but I got to get ready for this Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. I also need to work out, so I'm going to do that. But if you guys like my sounds, alckemy.com, book a lesson with me, or go check out my other videos. I've got all the information there. You just kind of have to go to it. If anybody has any questions or anything that you would like to see from me in the future, let me know. And if I don't see you tomorrow, then have an awesome rest of your weekend, and we'll be back on Monday. Tomorrow I'll be playing games. So if you're coming for production, I'm not going to be doing that. I will be playing Elden Ring DLC. So yeah, bye everybody. Discord link is in the link tree in the description if anybody wants to join. So bye everybody. I'll see you later. Goodbye.